Okay, so we're back. What I did with your data was what Matt suggested, and at first I said no, but then I did it anyway. I added all of the keywords into the import list, and the reason that I took the import list and then I drilled them out, you know, you click on this little thing over here and it'll drill out these, is because the vast majority, well, at least 50% of the keywords that we extracted from the ISDNA questions had no cost for traffic. So after drilling like 3 or 4 of them, I was like, all right, I'm not going to hit and miss, because when you get these that have got very low or no competing pages, they're not going to bring back any associated keywords because there's no other keywords that are in that same class. So I just went ahead and drilled these out, and when we look at it, this is the first time I've really stepped back and taken a look at it since I finished the drills. So this will be fun. We get to do all this on the fly with, I'll put on my tap shoes. So the biggest chunk is Wikipedia, which never really worries me because they're not my competition. Then we've got .gov, 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 .gov. EnergySpeakers.com is the first one over here, marginally small slice.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm assuming that that's got commercial intent. We can go take a look at it. But First Energy Corp, I would just about guarantee has got some commercial intent. And some of these, yeah, Forbes isn't gonna, ELA.gov isn't going to have commercial intent, so, and Answers.com won't really have commercial intent. So it's a pretty fragmented market when you look at this keyword set as a whole. Now let's just look for a moment at the synonymic net rather than at the vertical market and see how that changes. Fascinatingly enough, Wikipedia's got an even larger slice. .gov, .gov, .gov. It doesn't really change anything. Interestingly enough, it changes very little. So I could tell, let me come back here for a minute to the vertical markets, and you'll see that the number of keywords in these drills typically are pretty small. And what that says to me is that it's an emerging market, as well as the fact that the import list only had 50% of those keywords that had cost. So I find that fascinating because I drilled into this 2 years ago, maybe over 2 years ago. I was looking at renewable energy with another client, potential partner, and it was emerging at that point. So I figured by now it should be emerged.
More mature.
Yes. And so I'm quite happily surprised at how uncompetitive this really is. And so what that's going to translate into when we look at the Canadian data is an even smaller market, I would imagine. Maybe not.
I pretty much guarantee that it is.
Yeah.
I know on the geothermal side of things that it's much bigger.
Yes.
But on the solar side, what's compelling in this debate is the potential for the clients for the U.S. market.
That's really good, yes.
Versus putting all their eggs in the Canadian market.
That's actually really good because I know from 2 years ago when I was working with those guys that most of the solar panels are actually imported, or at least they were at that time. So if you can get something that's manufactured here,
Even better.
even better. The cost will be lower, you can pass on that savings to the client. So with that in mind, the other thing that's interesting, although they don't have a lot of keywords, these couple of drills that do have a fair number of keywords, you also see this slope thing going on. And what that is, we'll just drill into one and I'll show you. What that means is that you've got 1 or 2 big boys, one of which is going to be Wikipedia, and then nobody else is really ranking for a lot of terms. You've got a couple of guys that are ranking for 80% of the keywords in this market, 80 and 90%. And then you've got...
It's very scattered.
Yeah, you've got quite a few guys that are just kind of grouped here in the middle, which means the guys that are out there, they're not going to be too difficult to beat, to at least get above the fold. It's going to be a pretty easy thing to do.
Could you explain those quadrants, the charts, if you break that chart up into 4 blocks?
So if I break this up into 4 blocks, up here, if they're in this quadrant, that means they're highly optimized and very competitive. If you've got more than one or two guys up here in this quadrant, it's a market to stay out of. There's been a couple of markets where I've seen like 5 or 6 really big dots up here. The size of the dot also indicates the competitive, exactly, the authority of it. So if you've got 5 or 6 big dots up here, just walk away. Go find another market that's got more money in it. Or, that you're going to be able to make money in a whole lot easier. If they're down here, the exact opposite is true. That means that they're under-optimized, they're poorly SEO'd, there's no competition, you can take the market really easily.
Just hollow.
Yeah. If they're here, it means they're ranked for a lot of keywords, but the ranking is shallow. Like, it's a lot of
deep links.
Right, exactly. And if it's down here, it means they got a lot of deep links, but they're not ranked for too much. So you see the majority of these the majority of these sites are below 50%. You've got a chunk of them here where they've got good content. To me, deep linking indicates quality content because people are linking to, most inbound linking campaigns still today link to the home page rather than linking to the deeper pages. So those tend to be more organic links, meaning quality content and people are genuinely linking to their stuff.
That's interesting because a lot of these sites are .gov, so it will be quality content.
Exactly. Good point. So, but still in all, when you're talking about really competitive up here in this quadrant, I'm not too worried about it. The guys that are up here, those are pretty small dots. So, and then as you look down, you're right. The top several are,
It
.org,
seems like the
.gov.
majority of those are very informational in
Right.
context.
Exactly. And so those are going to be your stiffest competition. These things here, let's just drill on down into that a little bit further. This is that same profile curve that we just saw right there. So that kind of estimates all 3 of these lines. And what this is showing is the amount of money. So this is the actual amount of ranking value that they've got, and this is the part that they're missing. Usually it's the other way around, but because this is Wikipedia and they're an authority site, they rank for a lot of stuff. So let's just go take a look at the next one. What this shows you is keyword by keyword, and then it shows you the rank on Yahoo and the rank on Google, and it gives you the yearly ORV real, what they're really achieving by ranking 1 in 13, 1 in 54, versus what they could be if they were ranked 1 in 2, 1 in 2. So, and it's a little bit strange today because with Google's new algorithms, you can rank, you can hold more than just 2 spaces. So we haven't really been able to figure out how to account for that. So every twice in a while you get somebody ranking for 110% of what they actually could be ranking
So
for.
why is there an anomaly there with the 1-to-1 and alternative energy? Why are the prices, the values different?
Where are you looking?
Alternative energy says rank 1.
Rank number 1 on Yahoo and 1 on Google.
And then you see the yearly ORV in both is different.
Right, so this is the real ORV because they're ranked in the number 1 spot on both. If they were also ranked on the number 2 spot on both, then it would be 1,200,000.
Okay.
Is that those nested listings, 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Right.
So based on that, you can look down this list and you can say, okay,
Could I just say something on that? So if you see that 1 and 1 as well, something from a technical point of view is if you clean up your silos a bit more and make it a bit more clear to the search engine, you get the nested listings, the deep listings, that gives you the 1 and 2. So you get the primary, but then you get the silo, basically the silo links.
That's why in Domain Web Studio, we automatically make it that your articles are synonyms, or they're supporting keywords for your silo level, so that you're targeting that keyword on 2 different pages, and you've got the ability to get that nested indent. And if you get the number 1 space, sometimes Cleve would be a great one for that. They should be able to get an entire block of like 8.
Yeah, we have to have that first tab.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only way to go these days. So then when you look at energyspeakers.com, you'll see this has got they rank for the number 1 keyword, and then it drops, and they rank for absolutely nothing else. So
that's the way you should be perceiving that chart.
yeah, they rank for those top most. They rank number 6 on Google, which gives them a healthy chunk of change, and then they don't. So what that says to me is that they're probably not my competition. They're ranking for energy, but they're not actually ranking for any of those alternative energy concepts. So they're probably a conventional energy company.
So if we had themes in all of those lower ones, it wouldn't take very long to knock them off.
Correct.
Yeah.
Or energy might not even be a term that you're really after.
Also, that screen is a brilliant screen for speaking to your clients at the initial consultation of missed opportunity metrics.
Yes, it's huge.
It's excellent. You know, you can stick a domain in there, so you can stick Cleve in there, and you can show them where they're not ranking, right, what their missed opportunity is. And so that's where, let's just take one of these.
Yeah, so for example, you get called in for initial consultation. You could, to build trust, you initially could just do a site audit and help them fix the holes, which then changes the site where the site was.
Where do you add that domain again in the...
It's right here on this screen. You can rank a new domain.
And then you just plug in the clients.
Yeah, you plug in Cleve, and it'll show up here.
Let's put Cleve inside Banks Drill.
Sure.
CLEAV hyphen energy.com.
So then it'll go out and it'll look on the top 100 for all those keywords to see if they factor in, because we figure, you know, from 100 to 1,000 is interesting to me if I'm trying to boost the rankings of a keyword, but if I'm actually looking at what the value of a site is, then going further than 100 is really just pretty superfluous.
Yeah,
So-
that's time that.
Yeah, so we just set the length to 100 and grab those top 100 and see for each one of those keywords if Cleve is there.
Because I think this will make it more real for Brian and sales when we're actually doing this case study
Sure,
on their business.
sure.
Because you might find that they're not even positioned or ranking for any of the core keywords that we found from our estimate, which then gives us a very interesting story.
Sure.
So we are good to see what comes back.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's your answer.
Not pretty.
Not really at all.
So this is what you said, Cleve, that's how much money you're throwing away.
Potential and actual.
$500,000.
I thought it would be like it.
Alright, so
Am I reading that right? That's $500 million.
You want to get out of Wild Trout and go back to Cleve. Click to the wrong one.
That was $500 million.
Yeah, they drank for nothing.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah, it's $500 million.
971 million.
yeah, the total search market is
$500,000.
a billion, almost a billion.
500 million.
Yeah.
The PPC,
This is what you're leaving on the table.
well,
Yeah.
the PPC market value is not that expensive in comparison. If you look at that, it's quite interesting, eh? It's only $1 million.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So the organic value is just huge.
So, then again, you've got the energy in there, which keyword are we looking at?
We're looking at all of the keywords.
Well, this is the thing.
Yeah.
This is our focus. And,
See-
it is spot on. Pretty much.
Like I thought, most of the stuff's coming from the energy keyword. The rest are all smaller.
Right. Yeah,
And
energy
I
is
found a way
that.
to use Energy Star, by the way.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
I found a very clever way to use Energy Star. Because their site has a calculator on it.
Although, well, yeah, because guys who buy Energy Star appliances are going to be open to other alternative energy.
Of course.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. You know, the other thing that we didn't talk about a minute ago when we were discussing the business rules was the opt-in factor. And you spoke for a minute about hooking something up to.
We should go through those business rules.
We will.
Just so people understand.
But the thing that made me think of it is if you've got guys coming in through that particular keyword, through the Energy Star keywords, I would actually have them land on specific pages so that you can put them into a slightly separate funnel. I would, if you send them in through an Aweber account, I would educate them differently from guys who are already inquiring about geothermal and solar.
Sense, yeah.
Okay, so back to the overview of what's going on. So we took a brief look inside of energy. Let's just look at everything. At the moment, it's organized by TSMV, which means obviously the top of the vertical is going to be at the top, and your more long tail concepts are going to be at the bottom. And when I look at stuff, as I said before, I'm a data analyst. One of my favorite things to do is debug programs. And when you're debugging programs, you're looking for anomalies. So I'm looking for things that jump out at me and go, why? So we've got $4. I'm looking at the max cost per click. That means that when I look at these end numbers here, there's one keyword that's going to represent that $9.65 cost per click. And those are always intriguing to me. Anything over $5.
So solar panel shows up as that too?
Well, this is some keyword in that theme. So let's just go into renewable energy and see what that $9.65 is for a second. Come down here, we sort by cost per click.
Bioenergy.
Solar energy training. But following right after that is alternative energy education.
That means so much to their business. Because that's what they're doing. Offline, they're doing solar energy training. They're training developers, land developers, and obviously their target market. But what's to prevent them from having clinics at Home Depot on residential solar?
That could be huge. That could potentially be huge. So you don't have a lot of searches in that area.
But the
But
quality of
clearly,
those searches
yeah.
are high.
You
Yeah.
can get ranked for that keyword in the blog post.
Yeah, I mean, you've got very few competing pages there.
That's in America, so I want Canada be.
It'll be that little 0.3.
That's fascinating. All right, so let's go back. And,
What are they searching for?
pardon me?
Oh, right.
We're just looking for the high-cost keywords right at the moment. Just interesting. That's going to be the same keyword.
Education.
It's the same cost per click.
That's
Yeah.
playing perfectly into
Photovoltaics. What?
Photovoltaic. That's another word for solar panel.
It's a specific design in a solar panel unit. So there's two types of photovoltaics. There's a blue one and there's a black one.
Right.
The black one is actually more expensive than the blue one
Right.
because of the embedded technology in it.
Okay. Well, look at that. Solar panels with the S has a much more searches than solar panel.
That's, yeah.
It's a big difference.
Higher cost per click too.
PV panels is something that they promote on their site in that sense. So they have to be careful with acronyms.
It's the abbreviation of
Yeah.
photovoltaic,
And
right?
and this is what happens with technical people, is that they have a problem with taking their technical manuals and just throwing them up on their websites and not realizing that clients don't know what PV means.
Right. It took me a second
That
to
was on
figure
their
out what
site,
that was.
actually.
What does PV mean?
It's abbreviation for photovoltaic.
Yeah.
All right, so
So solar panels gives us educational feel.
that's $1.58. That's not too interesting.
Look at geothermal
$2.
heating systems.
Yeah, let's see what's there.
That's definitely a core business of theirs.
Right. So systems. Oh, unfortunately, such a broad term.
Heating and cooling.
The geothermal heating's right underneath it.
1,000 searches a day.
Nice.
Very nice.
And
Now, why
that's a
is
nice
the call
holiday.
clearance blank there? That's the
Because
question I
it
have
was
to
a,
ask. Oh, it's a drill.
yeah, it's a
Synonym.
keyword generation only synonyms. So I threw in similar keywords that came back just naturally from Google as synonyms. If they were close, I was throwing them in because it's so nichey. It doesn't actually change. All it does is it adds more keywords to the mix. It doesn't change the
Field theme.
yeah, it doesn't change the definition of the theme.
It's also, it's not going to be there because you've got geothermal heating as the primary keyword.
I should maybe talk about that, but I must get into it in one or the other.
So that's definitely, that geothermal is definitely a product-based market.
Yeah, which is fine. That's where they want to position it.
All right, so 965 is going to be that same 965 we were looking at up there.
Why don't you just sort it by maxes, sir? And all the ones that float to the top.
Bother.
Which makes this easy to...
So I'm going to ignore all the 965s. 535 we haven't looked at yet.
Wow, that could be very broad. Yeah.
Wow, that's nice. Let's go to the bubble chart bit. Consulting energy companies, renewable energy, energy efficiency. How would energy efficiency work as a vertical with what these guys sell?
Energy efficiency would be similar to the Energy Star compliance appliances.
Yeah, I
But
wanted
can
to play off the
that get turned on its head to be, this is why you need solar,
Wow, that's beautiful.
to make your energy more efficient?
It's definitely a tangent concept. People who are interested in energy efficiency would probably be interested in alternative sources. But that's what we were just talking about. They should come into a part of the website where you can get them into a different funnel.
Yeah. Be interesting to see how much search this. Then we've got wind energy, energy conservation, energy audits, home energy audits. Do they charge you for home energy audits here in the US?
$1,000
$1,000.
US, yeah.
Jeez, I thought the UK was expensive.
Yeah, but you'll get that money back really quickly because they will find out basically all where you're losing energy in your house, and they will give you all the right products and suggestions from that audit to improve your energy efficiency to the point where you'll regain that $1,000 probably in the first year.
Yeah, you can even make small adjustments,
Right.
inexpensive adjustments.
Yeah.
Replace a couple of key windows or replace a door that's leaking a lot of energy.
Yeah, they measure the air tightness of your house, the quality of your windows, where you're losing heat. And, yeah.
There's that word energy procurement. That procurement's an interesting word.
Yeah, not a word I'd usually use.
I would have never thought of using that word, procurement.
I don't know how that would resonate with customers, maybe engineers.
Yeah, but
It's a government term.
Yeah, it's
The procurement office, that's the part that buys everything.
yeah,
but you're saying that your company trains these builders,
yes,
so that's something that maybe that's the expert verbiage that they'll be looking for.
yeah. They're obviously working with technical engineers and general contractors on implementation of this.
I thought that was search though.
But a government building, like say you own 100 government buildings here in Phoenix, and you're going out on a procurement process to buy solar panels and geothermal for 10 of your facilities, you'd use that term.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one was a $5 one we looked at. We looked at energy, and everything else is under $5. So those are all the things that stick out. Let's look at the averages at this point and see which themes are the richest. Solar installation is going to,
That's nice to hear.
yeah. And right under that is geothermal heating systems.
Is that 1.5 million competing pages in the US? Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
average.
12,000 searches a day on solar installation.
Phenomenal.
That's
That's a lot of traffic.
Look at the searches for geothermal heating system.
Yeah. Yeah, given the
Twice
long
the
tail.
size. It's twice the size.
Yeah, that is huge. Let's go see what's in there.
There'll be a system or something like that in that batch. I typically delete the systems. I'll take them
Well,
out.
anything that's yellow isn't going to count anyway. It gets. We note the cost per click, but we don't include these numbers
Right.
in anything.
Geothermal energy.
Heating and cooling's driving it. There's 8,000 searches.
Yeah.
Heating and air conditioning.
Is it too broad though?
Well, those would definitely be conventional as well as
Well, if you look at that,
sustainable.
if you heating and cooling could be anything.
You're just presenting your alternative suggestion for that product.
I'll dig it deep into it. It could be anything. You got to try and understand what type of people are using that type of verbiage. I can see heating and air conditioning maybe. But heating and cooling could be anything. It could be for
Yeah.
cars. It could be for
Yeah, I
food.
Yeah.
It's too bad about geothermal heating and cooling. But it's still fairly decent. It's a category.
Yeah, but
term.
you've got 1,000 searches a day. That's a good term, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not shabby.
No, geothermal heating is pretty good.
That's 30,000 searches a month
That's
you
huge.
can tap into.
In each one, this is 30,000.
1%
This is
conversion of
30,000. But this one is 3,600. So,
So geothermal energy, there's a lot of interest in that.
yeah, definitely.
So the word energy is a modifier with geo.
And
What if it-
fascinatingly enough, the pay-per-click is really low. So that means that that's really early on in the buying cycle.
Yeah, I was just thinking, where does it actually go to?
Yeah, you could really capitalize on that and grab a lot of people that are just starting their searches.
And educate them.
Yeah. Whereas these guys, if they've got heating in there, you're looking at 30,000 in each one of those a month. 60,000. You rank for those two terms, and the competition's not that stiff at a couple million pages. We should check out the actual page rank of those. Let's run a white paper.
Geothermal energy might be the top level. You want to start to funnel off that. Looking at that.
Say that again?
That's 90,000, say 100,000 requests a month on that term.
Yeah.
And they basically have two of their core business is geothermal energy and solar panel.
Yeah, it's also that keyword is also sort of the top level, right at the top of the funnel. So you start dropping them in.
Alright, so that was geothermal heating. Let's take a look at geothermal heat.
Geothermal heating and cooling. So using the modifier there and then charging $3 a click.
Yeah, for 300.
1,000 searches a month.
Yeah.
And that word there, looking at the complete pages, we are now supporting keyword in the article. So you could essentially do keywords linked to those ones there.
Well, that's falling in a category, isn't it?
Yeah, you don't have to though.
Okay.
That would be a word I'd use. Well, it would be used by default, eh?
Could you give me quotes? And then, yeah, thank you.
This is entertaining.
Who's faster, the mouse
You
or
guys
the
do
keyboard?
programming the same way?
I have a mouse, he's got the,
Let's see who's faster, it's the keyboard or the mouse.
Go ahead.
I use my keyboard, I don't use the
Yeah.
mouse often.
EDU. YouTube. Dang.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then energy savers. Let's go look at energy savers. Since they, oh, that's a .gov.
That's
Never
an
mind.
Energy Star approach also.
Yeah.
So how's the government making money out of this?
Taxes.
Just sign up for energy free report. We promise you, it'll only be $1,000.
Do it yourself. Geothermal heating.
Well, it's
systems.
Popular Mechanics magazine.
Fascinating. So, you know,
Touch pop-ups.
yeah, unless they're yours.
Yes.
Even then I do.
Yes.
Still dealing with my own.
But what if you can advertise on this site?
It will, yeah, like that pop-up that just popped up.
Well, it's, yeah.
You scroll to the bottom of the page? Because they've got lots of advertising throughout.
Right here.
If you go right to the bottom, you probably
Right
see
here?
advertise with us.
On this article? They're not. This is Popular Mechanics. They won't actually have their own products, but they will let you put your products on here.
Just saying there's an opportunity to drive traffic.
Exactly.
I've never heard of this, but I'm assuming everybody knows this website.
Yes.
Yes, it's very popular in the United
And
States.
the concept on the article was do it yourself.
Magazine. A real magazine.
So would these guys sell your clients? Do they sell like do-it-yourself type of kits?
I think they were in that space at one time, and I think they pulled back from it.
Is it?
But
Yeah.
you know what I love about this is any type of do-it-yourself thing, right? You can actually give them the instructions, and all they have to do is look at it, and they're going to be like, contractor? Where do I get a contractor?
Yeah, the bigger, the easier manual, put it on the marketing promo.
Exactly.
My husband electrocuted himself. Can I have a contractor, please?
And a replacement husband?
Yeah, we'll throw an extra husband for that if you would.
Replacemyhusband.com.
This is Clean Energy. Yeah, my husband's still shaking.
How many husbands would you like? Well,
Would you show me what the page rank is on this site, please?
Go away. What is that?
Who knew idea?
Four.
4. All
That's
right.
all their specs.
Let's go. That's a 4, and do-it-yourself Popular Mechanics was a, whoa, all right, 6. Page rank 6 will definitely buy the ad on Popular Mechanics and then outrank the guys underneath.
What's geocomfort.com? That's what you looked at.
That's the one we looked at, yeah. All right,
This geothermics.org thing, what is this? 2 down?
that one?
Yeah.
That's got to have a lower page rank. Still a page rank 4.
Yeah.
What's that move.com? They've got advertising on it as well.
Where?
Scroll down.
Business card site.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is there's advertising.
Sure. Sure, for the non-do-it-yourselfers. I mean, this isn't a non-do-it-yourself site, so yeah, might be good to have a couple of different people on that site. Advertise a couple different places. So, okay. Let's check out just plain geothermal heating. Check out what the page rank is on that. Wikipedia, images. Hadn't thought about that, but this would be a market where tagging your images properly would be
Of course.
really
It's
important.
Super important, yeah.
We got the same do-it-yourself article again. That's fascinating. We have a video. Videos are going to be really important in this market. Consumerenergy.org. Energy savers.
That comes off the. Who's the water furnace guys? Because they.
Yeah, they sell, there's solar type of, these are the heat pumps, okay. This is the technology that goes in your house that connects to your geothermal system.
Right.
So I'm seeing a page rank 4 here is starting to be a common,
Phenomenon.
yeah, with the geothermal terms. So when you go to build out that silo, we have a new place in the new version of Domain Web Studio where you put in your page rank. So you want to
It's in the
stick.
business rules.
Exactly. You've been playing with beta.
Can't stay on the ground, so it may incriminate me.
What?
So let's come back here and look at the white paper on geothermal heating systems. Wikipedia's got a page rank of 5. Energy savers got 6. 5 for water furnace at the root. Water furnace is a pretty good sized site.
Yeah, it's an interesting model. I looked at it last night, actually. I thought the site was quite well designed, to be honest with you. I think they're doing a good job.
Interesting. Yeah, all of those are some pretty hefty sized sites. Although a lot of those are also largely information sites.
Well, I think that's something that we have to key in on is that people are collecting information
Yeah.
as their first starting point.
Yeah,
You know, like you were explaining to me the other night, when you're researching a specific product at a later stage, and in the early stage you're just getting a feel for what's available in the market
yeah.
and knowledge.
And the more expensive the product is, typically the longer you spend in research mode.
Yes.
And the more technically intense a product is, that also adds to the research mode. So since you've got both of those things going on with alternative energy sources,
And those become key components of your business model.
yeah.
Looks like the median's about a page rank 6 or 5.
5 or 6, yeah. Alright.
And that's in the US. So it's probably like a 2 in Canada.
It's a good possibility.
Would you get the same .govs in Canada that you get in the US?
No. You'll get a sprinkling of them. It does.
Does not go across the border.
It does. I'm actually quite surprised at how much it goes into the US.
The US .govs go across to Canada.
There's a lot of US sites that pop up in that space.
Okay.
At least on some of the drills that I had done in Krakken a while back.
Right.
It's not what I want.
Is that the one search you're looking for?
Yeah.
Click that there.
I want to change my search engines.
Yeah, just go to, you can change the language to English.
Change the language to English?
Just English and then region.
Ah, region.
That's where you define all the stuff. And if you go to English, then it just gets rid of any other noise. The one above.
There's a plugin for that one.
32,000.
Fletcher, you don't have, start right off with a competitor.
Two.
That's gonna make things a little bit
Oh, that's
easier
an
to bear.
educated guess, wasn't it?
Happy days.
Indeed.
Is that Nordic? What's that Nordic GHP? Is Nordic a brand?
Apparently.
Yes, it's a brand. I recognize it.
I could do other big houses and electric cars.
Should probably do a lot more. They do cooling systems.
So my guess is the reason that they're page rank 4 and they're outranked by a page rank 2 site is that these guys are specifically targeting geothermal heating and cooling, and these guys aren't targeting it nearly so hard.
Yeah, and also the Earl there too seems to have a little bit more of the term in it. It's not dead on, but it's pretty close.
Yeah,
Heating and air
yeah,
versus the brand of Nordic GHP.
yeah, exactly. Oh, we looked there, they had
And
nothing.
I'm wondering when Google's going to change that. Those deadondomain.coms, when they're going to finally getting around to fleshing that out a little more.
Sure, 3.
I think that's on their hit list.
You have to be more specific about what you're saying, I don't understand what you're asking.
Well, one example, if you pick a dead-on domain for, see, I had a .com that was geothermalheatingandcooling.com. I could have a page rank 2 and still outrank everybody,
You might
just
find
because of the domain.
you might find them discounting it, but they'll
Yeah.
never completely pull it out of their algorithm
Yeah,
because it shows enormous intent.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not gonna go well.
Yeah, so you don't have garbage marketers doing that.
And it also means that they don't have to work nearly as hard to keep that space.
Right. So that they will always weight that. And if it were me anyway, I would always weight that. So yeah, that's excellent. That's a walk in the park.
Okay. So that first blurb that Travis sent me is,
We can own this market in
we can
6
validate
months.
that conversation? Let's just say we need to validate that.
Own the market. If they're willing to throw enough money at it, sure. You can definitely rank for some important keywords within 6 months. I mean, to me, owning the market is owning 2,000 keywords, and I don't know that I'd want to say
Nobody can make that promise.
no. That's usually a 2-year project. If only because if they're going to own the market, I want
It's
to...
going to be coming to be a project.
Exactly. Okay. All right, I'm feeling pretty good about this. So,
Can we look at Google Trends quickly, say?
sure. Let's look at Google Trends over the entire...
Only take the top 500.
It'll give me the option to have them all, though.
That's blue. Geothermal installation outranks everything.
All right, so then let's get rid of everything else. And look at some other stuff. Not really anything there. Why did we go completely away?
Yeah, wasn't it the blue one?
Wasn't that the blue one?
What's the blue one?
Yeah, how come it just disappeared on us?
Sometimes they do that.
Might have to click the blue one again.
Turn it on, turn it off.
There's a lot of news about it, but the search volume disappeared.
I know.
So the geothermal installation news swamps everything else.
But that was our original let's just go back and come back in. Well, they're just being uppity now. There we go. Oh, fascinating.
Is that an election soundbite? 2009?
So Seller System outranks that, are they?
The geothermal installations just went completely off the map.
Ranked by Seller Systems. What other options do you have there?
Where?
Drop down menu below.
What that's going to do is rank these down here.
Philippines.
It won't even let me. It's really
It must be all the link builders.
does not have enough search volume for ranking.
Just go to Canada.
Did just a minute ago.
No, but you look, put on Canada and have a look at the different. You got all regions. How's that?
Because, boy, that's the default.
Manitoba.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
And your base is mainly English speaking, eh?
Yes.
So let's kill this for a second. Let's come back and
That Markham, Ontario that you spotted there, that's probably mostly clean.
Okay.
Initial storage. Get rid of that. Solar batteries. Not mention solar batteries.
Try geothermal heat.
It's really leveled off, eh? That news about it?
Geothermal heat. It's purple. It's got nothing going on.
A lot of talk about renewable energy. Eh?
I think you want to be where the chatter is. So what's that, is that telling us that it's very product centric?
Well, I wanted to get 5 of these keywords that actually had a reasonable amount of data, and then I wanted to come here and switch it back to Canada and just see what that's got. Oh, all 5 of those terms pretty tightly clustered.
Look how much US stuff is in there.
Well,
It just shows you how tied in we are with the US.
Go by
I
rank.
don't think that the news actually changes.
No.
So Manitoba's still number 1.
Yeah, that makes sense that they would be the largest geothermal installer in Canada. Nova Scotia, those are, Manitoba and Nova Scotia are very rural areas. You're looking at 80% farms.
But when I sort this by geothermal, so that geothermal is the most important term, I actually got Saskatchewan.
Saskatchewan's right beside Manitoba.
Yeah, way out there.
The best analogy there is like the United States Midwest.
Yeah,
I mean, those are
North
both
Dakota,
provinces
South
that,
Dakota.
yeah.
Yeah.
Saskatchewan, you could take a quarter of Saskatchewan and it would just eat the Dakotas and like they were nothing.
Right.
And it's all rural
Cows.
farms, off the grid,
Right.
preferably.
Right. Because trying to
ideal
run a
target
grid out to them is as expensive as
It will be
more
insurmountable for
expensive.
most.
Yeah,
So that's why that's showing like that.
makes a lot of sense. So you've got per capita, what that says, because this is ranked by an average.
Yeah.
right? So that somebody that's only got 20 people can show up on the map the same way that somebody with 1 million people can.
Well, the interesting one for me, which makes me laugh, is British Columbia and Vernon, Canada. Vernon, Canada is uber green, very
Oh.
green oriented. One of the Vernon is very geothermal at a
Okay.
residential level.
Wow.
So is Guelph. That's interesting. And Markham is very commercial geothermal
Okay.
corporations.
Right.
Markham, Ontario is probably the equivalent of Silicon Valley
Okay.
for the type of corporate companies that are there.
Okay. And these guys are actually stationed in Quebec, right?
Ontario.
Ontario. So let's just take a look at what aspects of Ontario are most important to them. Any surprises there?
Yeah, North Bay is a bit of a surprise to me. That's
Thunder
quite
Wright.
far north.
So that's in particularly interested in the green bits, which is solar panels.
Interesting. What's good about that is North Bay and Thunder Bay and Sudbury are all in the same region.
Okay.
Oshawa, Barrie, Markham, Peterborough, Guelph, Kitchener, and Kingston. Kingston is their primary hub, which is their business, and all the other ones are around those rings, with North Bay and Sudbury being very far out. We're talking 600-800 kilometers away.
So what you can do with that information is you can do some AdWords geo-targeting or Twitter geo-targeting or Facebook geo-targeting.
And you also can see what the interest is. I find that a lot of them are interested in the green bar. What's the green bar?
Solar.
What's geothermal?
Geothermal is purple.
It's the bottom one.
Probably, yeah, because it was the last one.
Yeah, it's the bottom one. So in relation to that, the term geothermal is probably about 60% less, 40% less used than solar.
Yes.
So the language that people are using is solar. I'm just trying to get my into how
Well,
they speak.
I'm also ranking by geothermal, which is interesting. Actually, geothermal should be the top, because I'm ranking by that. Yeah,
That's purple.
geothermal
It is at the top.
yeah, that's going to be geothermal.
Yeah.
That's just right.
And if I rank instead by
What's that top blue
solar,
line at the bottom there?
dark blue is also solar. I've got 3 solar terms, blue, red, and green.
That makes total sense to me. It just shows you how Cleve is positioned right now. That's their primary market. Belleville, Chatham, Peterborough, Oshawa, Sudbury. Well, Sudbury is the secondary market. Guelph is a primary market. Kingston is their core market.
Okay,
That's in their home turf.
okay.
Thunder Bay is a tangent market or a second tier market. Markham is a core market. It's very close to them. Barrie, same thing. Yeah.
Now, the thing I find fascinating,
Oh, I see that French stuff coming in there. That's interesting.
yeah, a quarter of the population, this is Ontario, right?
He wants to move into Quebec.
So he should be translating his website.
Yeah. That's great to see. Okay, gotta get my daughter on the translation.
For an extra fee.
Yeah, she gets paid $50 a page.
Excellent.
Pays her cell phone bill, so she's happy.
All right, so that's trending on the global scale, on the market scale. And then we can also drill down into this. Let's take we're sorted by yearly ORV. let's find the richest geothermal theme, and let's go trend that.
Geothermal heating and geothermal heat are running neck and neck there. Geothermal system is just, oof.
You know what I find fascinating about that graph is that it's dropped from 2008, and maybe that was just, I know in the US, actually let's go take a look
There's
at
also
in Canada.
there's seasonal spikes in it, eh? You see that?
Yeah. Well, this is
geothermal
summer.
system.
This is summer, and these are winter months. The winter would make total sense to me. Winter bills would just cause me to want to like look at solutions. But let's just go bounce into Canada and see what this does. Right off the frippin' grid. So the thing that I was noticing when we included the US about this particular, let's just look at all regions again. When I'm looking at these terms, these three terms, is we hit a high when the economy was at its peak.
Yep.
And it's been dropping off substantially ever since.
It's because people have priorities.
Exactly.
If you could zoom into 2011 or 2010 to 11, you can see sort of an upward trend again. Instead of all years, the last 2 years maybe.
Well, I can see a trend there as it
And
started
that falls
to.
off again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you look at what happened in 2011, we got halfway through 2011, everything. That's when that European crisis thing sort of kicked in,
Yes.
and it affected everybody.
You can see it climbing up slightly.
Yeah, this is going to be Christmas month where nobody spent anything on anything except
Yeah,
Christmas.
Christmas, January, nobody's spending money.
Yeah, and then the first quarter of this year.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Whereas I suspect if we go look at solar panels, just based off of what I was seeing a minute
This
ago,
is similar.
I think not actually. Let's take solar panels. I've only got one keyword here, but that'll have to do. Geothermal, to Google Trends, and oh good, it brings several. So yeah, you're actually seeing an upward swing 2008.
Same trend line.
Look at the...
No, it's much more stable. I mean, we did have that spike there in 2008, but aside from that, it's very seasonal.
Is the geothermal cheaper or more expensive than solar?
They're equally as expensive. And then the average system is about, for residential, is about $22,000 to $23,000. Same thing for solar panel system.
The thing I can say about the U.S. is starting about, was it a year ago they started doing away with the incentives on the renewable energies, the government incentives?
That's one of the reasons we got our green real estate.
Right. So, yeah, I think it's been exactly 12 months ago they started
The change,
nipping.
That's not as anywhere near as motivating.
Right.
Is that why guys like Solar City have popped up into this play?
But yeah, because you're not even, yeah.
You know, that the listing, these guys have done private leasing sites and...
Yeah, and there's certain areas in the US like Detroit where the incentives are still there, but not as much as they were. Like,
Yeah.
that's thanks to the Obama administration.
I think that's why he has not jumped, hook, line, and sinker into Quebec yet, because the rebate programs are not fully vetted yet there.
But
They're starting to come online now. Hydro-Quebec is controlling it though, that's the problem. There's no privatization. So the main hydro systems are government controlled. So there's Ontario Hydro, which obviously has their programs, their FIT program, but Quebec, Hydro-Quebec, they've moved into electricity in a big way, but they're more focused on automobiles and building out those stations for their own self gratification or profits,
Right.
not giving back incentives for people to get on the grid and add to the system and contribute to the system.
Right.
Which, if they were proactive about it and they were being on a positive thing, they would do. So there's something at play there.
Sure. So this is just solar panels in Canada, and there you
That's
see a pretty
encouraging.
solid, yeah, you see a pretty solid line there. And,
Can we look at the regions and the cities?
yeah, absolutely.
Brunswick. Okay, there's the rural thing again. Well, what's really interesting about that is how the major, where the populations are much further down the list. Except for Markham. Wow, that's weird.
So that essentially means the whole cities are staring this massive opportunity there. Because the guys are buying out of necessity, not buying because they're trying to change the system.
Yeah, the rural-based farmer entrepreneur type is doing it because it's a bottom line issue.
Yeah.
You know, they want to stay in business and their energy costs are going through the roof.
Well, just like
And they want to get off grid as sooner than possible. The city guys, they take it for granted, right? Especially in Quebec, we pay really low energy cost compared to the rest of the country. So people are much more passive about it. But it's starting to get traction. Ontario, they're much more progressive about it.
Right. So then my next question would have to be, these guys that are out in the boonies, are they on the internet?
Well, by listening to what they're saying at Cleve, that their word of mouth marketing is their best weapon right now, or their biggest arsenal in their bank, because it's entrepreneurial farmers that are communicating within their community about what they're offering. Now, if they're younger farmers, they're definitely on the internet. If
Right.
they're older farmers that have, big established businesses, the chances are likely not.
Right. So your best way of reaching them might be some kind of community meeting, might be actually hoofing it out there
Yeah.
and talking to them. And then for additional information, you could get them online.
Yeah, and what I pitched back to them was you could run direct mailing campaigns with a QR code in the mailing campaign
Yep.
with direct personalization if you've got them on a list.
Yep.
And that will increase your direct mailing response rate
Yeah.
significantly. And then tie that into a hybrid business model for the main website for information.
Yeah. And the necessity for the solar panel stuff to be in French isn't nearly as high. Having the geothermal
That's
stuff in
interesting.
French is important.
That's really interesting. And it's just, it hits a good mark because what's happening there is if you look at Ontario is very spread out. Toronto's the main hub, and then that corridor which goes down as far as Windsor, which is close to Detroit, and it goes all the way up to where Toronto is. That's where the majority of the population of Canada is.
Okay.
And then as you go up the St. Lawrence River, all of the population is following that river all the
That
way
makes sense.
all the way along. And it doesn't take you very long to get into the wild above the North Shore of Quebec.
Wow.
Yeah, and the same thing goes for Northern Ontario. You can be in the boonies and blink an eye.
Canada's a massive place there.
Yeah, and I think that's hitting a nail on the hat, is that on the solar panels not getting traction in Quebec is because they're very geothermal oriented. And even in the urban areas now, I'm seeing all the new condo complexes in Montreal, they're all geothermal now. They're building them all geothermal, every single one.
Interesting.
So there is a huge opportunity for them to move into geothermal in Quebec. Huge.
So this is the snapshot of the way it is now and the up and coming of it. But also
Looks like they gotta pay attention to New Brunswick.
yeah, indeed. But the other thing that this is going to point out is opportunities, right? Where there isn't so much interest, you're going to have to go in with more education. It's going to be a longer lead time, but chances are you can go into a lot of those areas with some educational programs that will reap you great rewards in a year or two.
I think the thing that's preventing them from doing successfully well there is that they have to build up their reseller network. and that they have to have teams that are geolocated to install.
Oh, yeah.
Check out when the last 12 months the Spanish popped into the mix there. Which I felt quite interesting.
That is fascinating.
Is that blending in a bit of US data?
No, it shouldn't.
Don't know where Spanish came from. I just zoomed
Oh, there's
in.
a strong Spanish community in Toronto and Montreal. It's showing up as New Brunswick though?
No, not necessarily. It's just, that's going to be all in
origins.
Canada.
Okay.
Origins last 12 months.
Can you put that by language?
Not sure.
No.
That would be nice though.
Yeah, can put it by specific region.
Yeah, do Google Trends. How's our stop point there? Is that today? Oh, okay.
It's pretty much. Just from the beginning of the year, the interest has increased.
Nice.
What is the red one?
Solar panels.
So what happened on April 29th? Pakistan. Oh, okay.
Alberta. Ontario.
Really interesting.
So you can draw right into it, eh? But there you got 5 years worth of trending that says it's pretty
Yeah,
consistent.
pretty consistent.